Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Like, what the heck's going on? We're not in Carathis, we're not speaking with Moonbreda in order to continue carrying on the main story of patch 2.4. Well, before we do, I mentioned about an important milestone that was about to come up for EDSS, and now that we've reached that milestone, we're going to take care of it first before we continue on. So, with that in mind, greetings people of the world, Matthew back with you here at Notorious Autism for the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV on Realm Reborn. It is year 2, day 62 for EDSS in the Realm Reborn, and last time we were able to successfully defeat Iceheart after she transformed into the primal Shiva, and then after that she once again continued to justify her cause by even going so far as to even use Heidelman's own words to try and purvey our favor. Well, we'll talk about more about that once we get back to the main story. But first, I did mention the significant milestone that EDSS was reaching. We've now reached that milestone because if we look at the number of Allegan Tomestones of Soldiery that he possesses, he has 1,410 of these. So we can take these and start spending them. We're going to speak with Oriana here at Mordona at Revenant's Toll. We're going to go to Allegan Tomestones of Soldiery and we're going to exchange what we have for going to the Others tab and obtaining Rowena's token Soldiery. We need 10 of these. And since they cost 130 tomestones each, we just so happen to have enough because 130 times 10 is 1300, so we will have enough to get a significant and substantial enough number of tokens from Rowena's token Soldiery. We can then use them on Elena here to go to Wondrous Sundries. And we can get a brand new lance, this one, the level 100, known as a Weathered Liberator. So we can go ahead and use our 10 of these tokens, plus the Allegan Tombstone, the unidentified Allegan Tombstone, that we obtained in Circus Tower as well. So, we'll trade them in, and now we can now give EDSS an enhanced lance. So, he now goes from a level 90 to a level 100. And that also boosts up his stats a little bit, but we actually have something that can enhance this lance even further. So, I will meet you guys in the North Shroud to do that, and I'll be back with you in just a moment. Okay, so we have returned to the North Shroud, and for those of you who remember how we started year 2, we started this journey by getting an enhanced lance for Edie. So, we've returned to Geralt's workshop here in the North Shroud, about a bit of distance away from Fallgord Float, and actually not all that far from Old Gridania. So, we're actually here, but we're not here to speak with him. We're here to speak with his apprentice, Drake. You need to speak with him. Now you have to do this with your level 100 weapon that you purchased in Mordona unequipped. So, what you can do is take the Liberator, or whatever weapon you got from Mordona, and you can exchange a Sands of Time, one that we got in the Circus Tower, and combine it with our Weathered Liberator to get a Liberator proper. So now it's no longer weathered. It is now at its full strength, it's at full capacity, and so now EDSS has a level 110 lance. And I'm pretty much can assure you that obviously that is much better than the level 90 lance that we've been carrying around for quite some time. We've been carrying it around since day 4 of year 2. So as you can see, we have this brand new lance, and all the weapons that are from Mordona that can be purchased with the Rowena's token Soldiery all are basically in this style. They all look very similar in terms of their design, in terms of their color and their look. They even have the little, if you can see the little ring at the top of the, just above where Edie's head is with the spikes on it, that's the symbol of one of the 12 signs in this game, that of Ralgar, mentioned quite a bit by General Ralban of the Immortal Flames. So, now that we have our level 110 lance, I'd say it's time we got back to Carathis and spoke with Moonbreda to continue patch 2.4's main story. So, But back we go to Kerthus, and I'll meet you at Snowcloak in a moment. And so now we've returned here to Snowcloak, so let's speak with Mumbreda as we continue on with the main story of patch 2.4. So let's speak with her to take on the next challenge entitled The Road Less Traveled. Mumbreda remains unconvinced that you have not sustained a head injury. If you ask me, there's naught to be gained from mulling over the implications of your story in the freezing cold. Let's save it for the Rising Stones, eh? I'll get everyone to meet us there. But before you do that, you'd best pay a visit to Whitebrim Front and speak with Arfinode. He's probably worried sick about you. That, or he's busy playing at politics with the Ishgardians. Either way, I'm sure he'll be delighted to see you hale and healthy. Speaking of which, you don't have a headache or anything, do you? No? Blurred vision? Oh, no reason. See you again soon. Well then, why are you walking the wrong way then? Should have been walking out of here, not actually further into Snowcloak. I guess she wants to study the aetheryte crystal a little more. Because yeah, she remains unconvinced of what exactly happened with Iceheart. But we'll make it very clear to her soon enough. So yeah, we have to actually go back to Mr. Alfinode in order to go back to continuing with our challenge for the main story. So yeah, there's Whitebrim Front. Just as beautiful as and as intimidating as it's ever been. I mean, when you consider that it is the city of Ishgard itself, which is on the horizon, perhaps that shouldn't be all that shocking. Alright, so coming back in. And I'm pretty sure that Alfinode is going to be indoors as opposed to outdoors this time around. Alright, so not down on the first floor, which means we know exactly where he is. He is more than likely in conversation with one of our friends of the Realm Reborn, Sir Drillmont. So, yeah, it looks like, yeah, Sir Emmerich is here too along with his assistant, so let's speak with Alfinode. There he is, and none worse for the wear. Was there ever any doubt that the Warrior of Light would succeed? I think I speak for us all when I say that I should like nothing more than to hear the stirring tale of your victory, if you would be so kind. Well, if you want it, here's how it went down. Then we were too late to prevent the summoning. But we did prevail. But not too late to prevent further loss of life, an outcome worthy of celebration. And one for which we have Edie to thank. Yes, you are right, of course, Sir Emmerich. We should be content with what we have accomplished. Indeed. I, for one, could not have wished for a better outcome. Shiva is no longer a threat and the heretics have been routed. Aye, there is the matter of Iceheart's escape, but she cannot run forever. Whether it takes days, weeks, months, or even years, my knights will find out. In the meantime, Lord Gilmont, is the caravan ready? The supplies that your men recovered have been prepared for transport in accordance with your wishes. Rest assured that my knights will see them safely to Revenant's Toll. Of that I have no doubt. I take it these are the self-same supplies the heretics stole from the household town caravan? Less the crystals which comprise the bulk of the shipment, yes, scarcely a fraction of that which was promised, but a meaningful contribution to your cause all the same. Oh, and on an unrelated note, Edie, might I trouble you to accompany me to Camp Dragonhead at your earliest convenience? And why was that? I speak with Lord Hoshafon? 'Tis not for my benefit. A certain lord was most distressed when he learned of your intent to risk life-ending to stop Iceheart. It took half a dozen knights to restrain him, I am told. You don't need to worry about the Warrior of Light there, Sir Emmerich. I'll be just fine. Men give vent to their anxieties in myriad ways. Pray do not think less of him. And so, away they go. Well, we know where we gotta go next. Back to Camp Dragonhead to speak with Lord Hoshafon. Because, yeah, I'm quite certain that after hearing about this, he wants to see that we are still alive and well. And not suffering from any head injuries, unlike what Mumbrida believes. Alright, there, Lord Hochefort. I'm here. And installed in one piece. What were you thinking, Edie? Wagering your very being on a dubious theory which might allow you to enter Astar's lair, knowing full well she could have sufficient forewarning to complete a ritual to summon Shiva anywhere. And then engaging the abomination in mortal combat? By the fury, Edie, 'tis the stuff of ballads, a battle for the ages. Would that I had been there to fight by your side. Yet I was here forced to wait, condemned to wonder at the fate of a dear friend for a veritable eternity. I would not wish such torture on my most hated enemy. But you are here now, and that is what truly matters. Let us move on. Sir Amaric wished to have words with you and Master Afinod in private. He awaits us in the intercessory. Well, that's good to know. Is this in terms of our victory against Shiva? Or is it in regards to possible further diplomacy by virtue of our victory over Shiva? Let us go back to the intercessory and find out for ourselves. Hey there, guard. Let me on in. And so, back to the negotiating table.
On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, allow me to express my deepest thanks.
Oh, you're
Never
quite
before
welcome.
have we been required to contend with a primal. Indeed, there were fears in some quarters that our knights might not be equal to the task.
Which
From
is
what
why the
we have
Warrior
now
of Light
learned
is
of these
here.
beings, I can say with certainty that we would have lost a great many men had the Scions not intervened.
Then the argument for preemptive action should be self-evident. Perchance now you will reconsider my proposal that Ishgard move against Natalan.
Oh, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Ere we first met, a similar proposal was tabled, but the Holy See decreed that we were to observe, and that military action should be taken only in self-defense. All things considered, it was not an unreasonable decision. Since the calamity, 2 vigils have fallen to the Horde, while Garuda has never shown any inclination to storm the gates of judgment.
Yeah, it's still no deal.
Which is why this unprecedented crisis and its resolution may prompt a change in policy. You who have faced these primals know well the threat they pose. Ishgard did not. Not until now.
Of course.
There is naught like a brush with death to change a man's outlook.
Scare tactics and all
At the
that.
very least, this should silence any lingering objections to our arrangement with Revenant's Toll. The Holy See may even feel moved to grant us its formal endorsement.
So
Well, that would
far
certainly
as
be
it is
nice.
possible, the Scions shall be compensated for their service.
We should be grateful for any aid you can provide.
As a gesture of good faith, I shall withdraw my previous request. Your people are doubtless needed elsewhere.
That will not be necessary.
Why is
We
that?
too have a vested interest in watching Dravania's movements.
I see.
Well, obviously because of
Once
Shiva.
more, I must thank you.
Sir Emmerich, if I may, do you truly believe that Midgardsormr could return?
The heavens are a window unto truth, but those who interpret their movements are not infallible. I requested your involvement as a precautionary measure.
Is that so?
But of course, you sought an excuse to compensate us from the first, mindful of what would happen if Revenant's Toll were taken by your enemies. Ishgard is not wont to aid its neighbors, but that does not preclude it from manipulating them to serve its own interests.
You smell a
Choose
rat?
your next words carefully.
Yeah, back off.
Do you know what sort of man becomes Lord Commander of the Temple Knights? One who comes from good stock. I did not. Yet here I am now. Why do you suppose that is?
Well, elaborate for us.
Because I swiftly learned to tell the difference between words, deeds, and beliefs. You are correct, Master Leveilleur. Ishgard desires to see Revenant's Toll flourish, as it would present a troublesome obstacle to our enemies from the south.
We are so glad to be of use to you.
As we are to you. Ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement, lest we forget. One born of necessity. The dragons grow more restless by the day, and the heretics harry us nigh without cease. We have contended with such troubles for centuries, but there are limits to even our endurance. Yet as a pauper is loath to part with his meager possessions, the leaders of Ishgard are not wont to render up their trust to outsiders.
Indeed.
But with perseverance on our part, they may yet be made to see the light. Nevertheless, one must take care when walking the road less traveled.
Indeed.
Wise words, Sir Emmerich. I shall make a point to remember them. I must apologize for my earlier outburst. I hope it will not sour our good relations.
Let's hope so.
Not at all. You but spoke from the heart. I trust you understand that at times my duties may prevent me from meeting with you. On such occasions, my second-in-command will speak for me.
Okay.
Lucia, at your service.
Oh, really? So you came here from Lunar too, huh? Well, I guess after a bit of a long journey and a long stay at the Blue Star, you decided to come to Eorzea. Alright.
Pray excuse our reticence. We are but wary of speaking too freely, lest our sentiments be made known to our enemies. Know that the Lord Commander and I are of one mind. For the sake of Ishgard, and of Eorzea at large, I pray our peoples can put aside their differences.
Let's hope you're right. I mean, you know who's on our
Those who
side.
dwell in the past risk losing sight of their future.
Should aught befall one of our shipments, pray inform Lucia immediately. You may also relay to her any words you might have for me alone.
Fair
Not
enough.
being of Ishgardian birth, she owes no allegiance to any noble house, making her as near to incorruptible as one can find in my homeland. Suffice it to say, I trust her completely, and so may you.
Well, let's hope she doesn't turn out like Elaine or I did.
Which reminds me, Lord Orchefort, if you would be so kind.
Certainly.
Oh, what do you have for us?
In times such as these, trust is ever in short supply. Mayhap this will go some way to rectify the problem. The results of our investigation into the heretics' recent attacks, as well as our interrogation of the merchant you detained.
Sir Emmerich, I cannot thank you enough.
Yeah, that's quite impressive.
Think nothing of it. Ishgard may be many things, but it is no friend to Garlemald.
Thank heavens for that. Thank the 12,
Did I not tell
specifically
you to
for
have
that.
faith, my friend?
And so, with that, we get 758 gil, plus we get this quest completed. So now, where do we go next? Well, we'll speak to Solar Alpha Node and find out. And we'll take on the next challenge entitled Eyes Unclouded. For one with reason to celebrate, Alpha Node looks rather grim. It would seem we have much to discuss with our friends at the Rising Stones. If what you say is true, Icehall's method of summoning Shiva defies all precedent. It necessitates a complete reprisal of the primal threat and of our approach to combating it. Moreover, there are grave ramifications if word of this incident reaches Imperial ears. The Garlean Empire believes that primals are an insufferable menace, and that their mere existence is a threat to this very star. As such, they may deem any action taken against the beast tribes to be justified by default. Imagine then if it became known that it was not only the beast tribes of Eorzea that could summon primals, but her civilized peoples as well. Any lingering objections to the Eorzean campaign would vanish overnight. Where before we had to contend with a single Imperial Legion, we could well find ourselves facing the combined might of all Garlemald. But I speak unadvisedly. Come, Edie, it is better that we continue this conversation in Mordona. And so, I will meet you guys back at Revenant's Toll in a moment. Alright, we have returned to the Rising Stones, so let's go ahead and speak with Lady Minfilia to complete this challenge. And you know, there's going to be some conversations involved with it.
Words cannot well express how glad I am to see you return to us hale and whole.
Of course, Lady Minfilia.
Needless to say, I am most eager to hear your account of that which occurred in Curthis, assuming you're ready to speak of it.
I just hope you believe it's unlike Moonbrighta did.
Excellent. I shall summon the others at once.
Alright, Scions, get ready for quite an earful. So, after saying what Ishgard did in order to bring about Shiva, that suddenly got them thinking.
Ishgard used her own body as a vessel for a primal soul?
That's right.
Master Louisoix's writings make no mention of such a possibility. Can we be certain this entity was a primal?
As certain as we can be that good King Mogulmog the 12th was a primal, I should think. Both were ostensibly summoned.
Let's not quibble over definitions. Of more concern is the implication that Iceheart retained her will, even after she was possessed. We are talking about a mortal, wielding the power of a primal.
Indeed we are.
It can't possibly be that easy, can it? There must be some sort of sacrifice required. Or maybe she's just special?
One of a kind?
What
yeah, you can mull over it all day,
wouldn't you? I know not, but full sure am I that she was groomed for this role. Few are privy to the secrets of summoning, and but a single party standeth to profit from their dissemination.
The Dravanians?
Well, I wouldn't presume to comment on how the lass came to know about summoning, but I will say that what she summoned was a primal. The readings were the same, or near as damn it. Strange as it all sounds, it's really no different from what you've faced before.
No, it isn't.
Then mayhap it is time that we re-examined our previous encounters.
Pack your things, Ida. We're going back to Gridania.
Again?
Yes, sir.
Well, she seems more enthusiastic about it this time around.
About Iceheart's final words to you.
Yeah, quoted Heidelin.
Hear, feel, think. Heidelin speaks to her as well.
Yeah.
If Iceheart is blessed with the power of the Echo, she will doubtless have used it to further her goals. Or could it be that it was a revelation granted her by the Echo which first set her on this path? She did say that the Ishgardians were blind to the truth. Do you think she has knowledge of the origins of the Ishgardian-Dravanian War? It would do much to explain her unwavering conviction.
It certainly would.
Did not the Lady Iceheart implore thee to seek the Keeper of the Lake? And did she not imply that in so doing thou wouldst come to see with eyes unclouded?
Midgard-Zoma was a king amongst kings who reigned for centuries on end. But he is dead and his wisdom lost to the ages. Unless the Ishgardians' fears are well-founded. It would seem we have yet another reason to stand watch over the Keeper of the Lake. For a mercy, we are well positioned to do so.
Well, let's hope it works out.
Iceheart, Shiva, Ascians, and Midgard-Zoma. I shudder to think how they're all connected.
Yeah. It's a scary thought. So, we complete this challenge and get the 760 gil out of it. So let's proceed to take on the next main story challenge. Taking on the challenge entitled The Reason Why. Minfilia would discuss how best to proceed in light of recent developments. I mean to scour the annals of knowledge from Midgard-Zoma. Given his great age, I dare say he appears in more than a few. Do you hear that? The commotion outside? Would you see if aught is amiss? Yeah. She got interrupted there. And something must have happened. Are we being attacked all of a sudden by Garlemald? Is the Garlean Empire invading already? Alphanode, news, please. Oh, unless the noise was the saluting. Edie, 'tis well that you are on hand. We have a problem. Why has escaped? Ah, crap. It happened shortly after the Immortal Flames took her into custody. She had been placed in a dungeon cell ahead of her coming trial, but apparently the accommodation was not to her liking. Well, yeah, a dungeon cell. Duh, they're often known. The turnkey was found slain along with 2 guards. 'Tis plain she received inside help. Citizens report seeing Marai quitting the city via the Gate of Nold with a bloodied spear in her hand. She makes for Castra Meridianum, I am certain of it. With her fate in Eorzea as good as sealed, what recourse has she but to flee to her imperial masters? Even as we speak, Captain Ilberd and the First are hot upon Marai's heels. Pray make haste to Camp Bluefog and join the hunt. Alright, well, off he goes, and, well, we know where we have to go next. Northern Thanlin for the first time in a while. In fact, for main story, I don't think we've been here since we actually defeated the Garlean Empire back in year 1. So, we return here to Camp Bluefog, and there's Captain Ilberd, and he's going to speak with us so we can continue on. Captain! My thanks for coming, Scion. I have spoken with the soldiers here. They say that Marai walked through the camp not a bell ago. Aye, she walked right through, you did not miss here. We have Ralbon's decision to keep the matter secret, thank for that. Bad for morale, he said. As a result, not a single flame in the garrison made any attempt to detain her. And so, here we are. Marai must not be allowed to reach Castra Meridianum. Yeah, or else we'll have a battle on our hands. So, our next destination is actually going to be... We actually have to warp now, further into Northern Thanlin, to the cerulean processing plant, because that actually gets us closer to where we need to be. Because, of course, that's where Ilberd is right now. Boy, Captain, you move fast. And so now that we've arrived over here, let's put a little spring in our step and find the good captain. Gonna be waiting for us right outside the gates by the looks of it. Yes, here you are. Accompanied by Yu Hase. Oh, we've seen this ring before, haven't we? Yeah. This means that a battle is about to take place. And my chocobo cannot be part of it, so... Well, here we go. Yeah, if a battle's going on, you know what it's going to entail. And it's not good. The wretch was with Marai. He threw himself at us that his mistress might escape. She didn't blink when we caught him down, not even when he started screaming. No loyalty, even to our own, the goddamned hoppy. With me, Scion, we almost have her. Yeah. Keyword almost. So away we go. With my glowing level 110 lance. But yeah, there she is, now decked out in battle gear, and accompanied by Garlean soldiers. Yeah, we're ready for you. Yeah, I'm gonna break those glasses you're wearing. And that's not all I'm gonna break. Alright. Here we go! Let's do this. Start taking out the necessary threats that could really make our life a nightmare. I'm not so worried about the people on the right as of yet, but we will have to go to them eventually, and it looks like we won't have a choice because there's a healer in the field. Yeah, it's you! Yeah, you're the one giving us a hard time, so you're a threat that has to be neutralized immediately, or else I'm gonna get slowed way down. Yeah, Golden Eye Yu Hase? Yeah, we are going to dust by your Golden Eye. Alright, Sagittarius is dead. Alright, well, we just need to, I want to, target the Magitech armor. Oh, but no sooner are we going to do so than this happens. Reinforcements come in. And they're like, screw you. Oh, and that, yeah, this just makes things even worse. Deathclaw. Oh, great. We've got 2 of them on Yu Hase and on Captain Ilberd. Come on. Target the Deathclaw. I need to get these things gone. Alright. I'm gonna make this part right here. Now you're out. Now, I want to deal with you. Yeah, they're not. They're not, and yeah, they're just bringing up a whole frickin' cavalry now. And Aquilifer, huh? Yeah, that's what I have in mind. And once you know it, that's exactly what I'm targeting. How smart am I? Eliminate that threat. Okay, you're down. Can we target? Okay, never mind, you're dead. It doesn't matter. Alright, Sagittarius. Let's take you out. Get you out of my way quickly. Over to the Equus. Let's double score on these two. Now, we're doing a good job of controlling the fight so far, but things can turn in a moment's notice. So far, our lane is down to half health and more reinforcements. Are you kidding me? Well, let's take out the Colossus then first before we focus on the new set of reinforcements that we have to deal with. Yeah, because this Colossus is going to cause the most damage. Forgive us our lateness. Oh, Lady Yugiri! Reinforcements joining in! Oh, thank goodness you do not know how happy I am to see you right now! Let's start eliminating the threats. Yeah, because we're in danger of losing a few people right now. In fact, we already have lost a couple of Crystal Graves and Immortal Flames. Alright, that one's eliminated. I've earned more than my coin already. Yeah, he's been taken out. And the thing is, if we lose Captain Ilbert too, I think that's a disqualification. Well, Ilbert's still at half health, so all is not lost. But, oh, he was at half health, but now... Oh, this is now a race. This is now a race to the Peter Land. And we've won this race. It was getting dicey there for a while. Yeah, you lose, we win. Bind her, and do it tight! Yes, sir! Yeah, this time we're gonna make sure you stay put. Good work, men. Hey there, Alpha Node. Fashionably late as always. Yeah, too bad you can't provide your own combat. She and her Imperial cronies pushed us close, but we were better. Behold, a respected officer of the Immortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of the Order's founding members and one of its pillars. It saddens me to see you fallen so low. What would you know of law? You, a spoiled little lordling who has never known any want. Yeah, what are you getting at? People such as you take wealth and wealth for granted. You think it was your God-given right to rule over others. You know not of our plight, the injustice that we noble Ishgardians must endure. To the noble lords and ladies, we are not people, but resources to be consumed. I did what I had to do to survive, stealing, killing, even hoarding myself. It is no fault of mine as fools imagine me as a paragon when I join the Flames. To hear you tell it, one would think you the only person ever to have suffered. In case you haven't forgotten, Reborn himself was born into poverty, as was I. We lived hand to mouth with little more than the shirts on our backs. Hunger was our constant companion. Never did we bemoan our lot in life, nor did we begrudge others their fortunes. We accepted the hand that we'd been dealt and played it to the best of our ability. Life was a battle, aye, but no matter what fate threw at us, we took it on the chin and came back for more. Everything we have, we fought for. How are we any different then? 'Tis true that we were both mercenaries of lowly birth. And 'tis true that we both had our fair share of struggles. But whereas I sold my sword, you, Marshal, you sold your comrades. If life has taught me one thing, is that you never betray your own. I would sooner cut off my own arm than raise a hand against a friend. But enough talk. You will return to Uldar to face justice, and the people whose trust you have dragged further through the gutter. And so now they send her away again. And hopefully she will not be escaping. So, now that that's taken care of, let's speak with Alphinaud to complete the challenge. Not so much as a hint of remorse. 'Tis well that this sordid business is finally at an end. A friend's betrayal cuts deeper than steel. We must hope that we have chosen our allies more wisely than Reborn chose his. Well, let's hope you're right about that, Alphinaud, as we get this challenge completed and take the 2,000 gil with it. So...
I've heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Reborn. There is no telling what the brute might do.
Yeah, we know what Teleji Adeleji is up to.
Watch him in the flames day and night.
The blades? You mean you have the blades under your control too? Is there no Lodi what you'll sink
the
to?
Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that. Yeah, everything seems to be going according to your plan, doesn't it?
Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while.
Well, you really want to create a lot of chaos around town, don't you, Teleji?
Nanamo ulnamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
Yeah, who knows what this guy is up to? Well, we know some of what he has in mind. But just how low will he sink? And so, with that quest now completed, let's speak to Alphinaud again to complete our final challenge for the main story of patch 2.4 entitled Let Us Cling Together. Alphinaud would ask another favor of you. Captain Ilbert and I have a few questions for the Flame Marshal regarding the circumstances of her miraculous escape. When we have completed our interrogation, we shall take our findings directly to General Reborn, and that shall be the end of it. Your work here is done, my friend. My thanks. Ah, but I have one last task for you. Return to the Rising Stones and apprise Minfilia of all that has happened. I am aware that the antecedent held Rowai in high regard. For better or worse, she will want to know how this tale ends. And so away goes Alphinaud along with Captain Ilbert, and so I will join you guys back in Rondona at the Rising Stones in a moment. And so now back at the Rising Stones, let's speak with Lady Minfilia to complete the main story of patch 2.4.
Welcome back, my friend. I have already received word from Alphinaud. To think that Flame Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent. I know not what to say. Together with Reborn, Eileen lent us much-needed aid at the time of our Order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat. When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then.
But of course,
now
times
is not
change.
the time to dwell on such matters. I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Ascians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled.
Awesome. That's great news there, Lady Minfilia. So, what do you propose? Along with
My
Moonbrighter,
thanks
obviously.
for coming, friends. Moonbreeder, the floor is yours.
By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with White Auracite, the miraculous material that'll allow us to capture Ascian souls.
Oh, it can be used to capture souls too.
Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability. The stone can only store ether for a short while before expelling its contents.
In addition to Auracite's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength. Our foe draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Indeed.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Ascian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Ascian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Pretty much, yeah. Because, yeah, you'd be going into uncharted territory.
Lieth in thy struggle with La Hebrea.
During that encounter, Hydaelyn bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy. Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether. Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Hebrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void. The fact
So where does that put
remains,
us?
However, that Hydaelyn placed the means to destroy the Ascians in your hands. Be that as it may, it would be unwise to assume that she will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite so, my lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Hydaelyn did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
And so how do you propose this?
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, what if we had 2 pieces of white auricite? One to trap the Ascian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
And
She never was good at science.
Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
Twould seem more research is in order.
There never is a lack of need
I'm
for
going
it.
to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the auricite. And I could do with some help. Urianger, why don't you lend me a hand?
Yeah.
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands.
Oh, come on, you can at least
Lady
contribute a little over
Nymphaea
here.
have given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
They're like, I'll follow you to the ends of the earth, Urianger. And so it looks like everyone else is taking their leave, and I'm caught
While
in the
you were
middle.
afield, word arrived from the Garlean motherland. You will recall that a survey party was dispatched to investigate the incident at the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least.
Yeah, that would be the home of the students of Baldessian.
According to the report, the Isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
Aye.
Cursed Ascians.
Yet the mystery endeth not with the Isle's disappearance. It hath come to light that a number of scholars in various other locales were reported missing at a similar juncture.
Uh-oh.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Baldessian. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it. I'll be damned if that's a coincidence.
Oh, my friends on Skype are trying to call me, but I can't take their call yet because I'm not done with this
All
video.
indications
Soon, but not yet.
suggest Ascian involvement. But I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the Dark Beings call the One True God.
Yeah, that guy.
We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
Well, let's hope you're right there, Lady Nymphaea. And so with that, we complete the challenge, and the 5,000 gil is ours. The main story of patch 2.4 has come to an end. But we still have a few more loose ends to tie up before we officially close this video. So back in Ul'dah,
following the calamity, the forces of the 14th Imperial Legion entrenched themselves in strategic locations across Eorzea. So swiftly did they accomplish this, it was suspected that they had received help. To think that it came from Huayu, my right hand.
There is more. We have reason to believe that Huayu didn't deal exclusively with the 14th. She also answered to a higher authority in Garlemald.
The new
But
Emperor?
This higher authority could not have been the Emperor. By
Well, that's
consenting
good.
to the media project,
Maybe.
Solus Zos Galvus showed himself to be more concerned about preventing the spread of primal influence than claiming Eorzea for the Empire. He would happily have seen the lot reduced to ash. We believe a number of high-ranking figures within the royal household were against the decision, but that they knew better than to oppose the Emperor openly. Of course, this didn't prevent them from making clandestine provisions, in which Huayu played a part.
Alas, these
so?
provisions did not prevent Dalamud from falling, and the ensuing chaos changed the face of the realm forever. Yet Eorzea survived. To all intents and purposes, the Meteor Project had failed, and the Empire was left to rue its lack of a decisive means to eliminate the primals. Until, that is, it stumbled upon the Ultima weapon.
But we still beat it, though.
Even before the accursed thing was dug up, it seemed to me the 14th had the might to overwhelm our weakened armies. Yet they chose to hide behind their walls. Why?
The
Yeah,
Black
exactly.
Wolf was wary of making the denizens of Eorzea desperate, lest more primals emerge to bleed the land. The discovery of the Ultima weapon, however, emboldened him to resume his war of conquest in earnest.
But there was one in Garlemald who believed that Van Belsar's actions were premature. One who stood higher in the Imperial Army's chain of command. He ordered the Legatus to halt his advance, only to find that the Black Wolf had slipped its leash, and that the 14th now acted alone.
Wow, so all this time, the main enemy of the Garlean Empire that we were dealing with in year 1 was a rogue.
In a bid to bring Van Belsar to heel, he used the agent he had planted in Ul'dah prior to the Calamity to undermine the Legion's efforts.
A man who outranks Van Belsar, yet opposed the late Emperor's decision to annihilate Eorzea. This could only be the former High Legatus of the Garlean army, now known as Emperor Varus Zos Galvus. So he was Huayu's true master.
But
And
one of
he's
several,
sitting on a
in
throne
actual
too.
fact. We've learned that even as Huayu served the Empire's interests, she sold Imperial secrets to a certain faction in Eorzea. In
Do
so
we dare
doing,
guess which one
she
it
helped
is?
to maintain the status quo, thus prolonging the conflict. Considering who stands to profit from war, it isn't hard to imagine who her other masters were.
7 hells! You mean to say that she was a double agent?
Yeah.
Triple, if you consider her services to Van Belsar and the new Emperor as separate.
As neatly as these pieces seem to fit, one aspect of the puzzle remains unclear to me.
That being?
By whose will was the Marshal feeding intelligence to the heretics? And try as I might, I fail to see how aiding their cause would profit either her Imperial or monetarist masters. Could it be that another hand is at work here?
Oh
If so,
boy.
Huayu must be made to reveal whose it is.
I think she'd rather die first.
Not
Knowing
only
her.
have I lost a trusted friend. Now I must interrogate her as a stranger.
Yeah, you
Not
do.
a pleasant task, I grant you, but a necessary one. Unless we weed out the ivy, root, stalk, and stem, it will simply grow back.
I know that full well. Those closest to Huayu have already been detained, and I will question them alongside her.
General, pray keep in mind that there may be unwitting abettors among them.
All will be
Yeah,
treated
so
fairly.
don't be too hasty.
On that you have my word. Those who are innocent have no cause to fear.
You have ever been a friend of truth, General. I hope the unpleasant task of weeding out falsehood will not detain you too long. Though it be for the sake of Eorzea, doubting one's comrades is poison to the soul. And with that, I take my leave.
Do you have to flip off General Alban? I mean, seriously. And so, General, now that you've lost your second in command, who will take over?
Years, I've been made to dance to their tune. How could you, Huayu? How could you side with them?
Well, she did, and now you have to deal with it.
Take from this land and give naught in return, who use their power to disempower and grow fat while the people starve. I know you can hear me, monotorious scum! Your crimes will not go unpunished!
Well, we'll take you up on that.
Of your sickness, before the eyes of the 12, I swear it!
And guttural roar. Yeah, it just never gets easier. Only harder. So as we stay in Ul'dah... Hey there, Sultana.
I have no further need of you this day. Your Grace. I fear that not even mine own chambers shall remain private for long.
Seems that way, doesn't
Has
it?
the situation grown so grim?
Yeah, that's right, the Sultana is not alone. She's accompanied by the Elder Seer.
Ever since he proposed the Cardinal Reclamation Bill, Teleji Adeleji has risen to greater prominence upon the backs of impoverished refugees. The Monetarists were ever united in their pursuit of profit, but the man's actions have torn a rift in their ranks. They snap at each other as rabid dogs. Yet now is not the time to be bickering among ourselves.
Yeah, even Admiral Merlweb is here. It's a ladies' night in Ul'dah between the three heads of state.
Would that the solution were so simple, Admiral. Alas, my moving to dissolve the Syndicate is certain to spark outrage among the influential merchant class, whom the Cabal represents. This would serve to exacerbate the current unrest, and peace would slip still further away. Be they rich or poor, natives or refugees, all who reside in Ul'dah have a right to pursue happiness. It is the duty of a ruler to protect this right. If I am to perform my duty, I must needs tread warily. It would not do to make enemies heedlessly.
And so what will you do?
Were Lord Lolorito here, he would doubtless say that I have my head in the clouds.
A ruler is required to take a wide view. Try as we might to cater to all needs, some will inevitably be overlooked. As such, there shall ever be citizens who feel aggrieved. It cannot be helped. But as you have informed us, the Monetarists take no view but their own. They hunger for power while the masses starve. In the absence of a common cause, it seems beyond any one individual to make Ul'dah whole.
And the presence of a Garlean agent within the immortal flames only makes matters worse.
Well, we did nip that in the bud, though.
Historic reliance upon mercenaries, such a grievous breach of security is unprecedented. I fear this business will provide the Monetarists with a rod to beat Rauban.
Eorzea can ill afford for the immortal flames to be dampened now. Ere long, the Garleans will turn their ravenous gaze toward our lands once more. If we are to resist their might, our nations must stand together. Yet for this to happen, our nations must be whole. Cannot be done to improve the situation in Ul'dah.
Yeah, there's Sultana. What do you plan to do?
The true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her citizens. Alas, the citizens shall never know these things, so long as their lives are ruled by the ambitions of the few. The Monetarists claim to represent the best interests of the people, but in sooth they desire only to manipulate them for their own selfish ends. For the government to serve the people, it must be formed of the people.
That's very American for you to say that, Sultana.
For Ul'dah to move forward, it is not only the Syndicate that must be dissolved.
What else?
Nay, you jest.
Yeah, what's the Admiral getting at? What's the Sultana getting at?
My friends, it was for no other reason than to make known to you mine intent that I requested your presence here. When I make my declaration to the people, chaos shall inevitably ensue. As the last monarch in the line of Ul, I make unto you this request. Help Reborn to preserve order, and protect the people. Forsake them, and you forsake yourselves. For a strong Eorzea will ever have need of a strong Ul'dah.
Are you leaving us, Sultana?
Your Grace, are you certain of this?
There is no other way. When the time is ripe, the nation shall become a true republic. Both royalists and monetarists shall cease to be. Ul'dah will no longer belong to kings or queens or merchant princes, but to her people.
Yeah, she no longer wants to lead Ul'dah.
Reborn, forgive me for casting aside all that you have toiled for in my name. Beyond this gesture, I am powerless to help my subjects.
Yeah. It's sad to hear her see these things. Hopefully we can turn things around, that we can convince her to change her mind, have a change of hearts. Well, we won't know, but eventually we will have to come to this at some point once again. So, with the main story of patch 2.4 completed, there is one more side challenge that I want to take on here in patch 2.4, and it involves a certain inspector and his goofy little friend, and we'll reunite with them next time. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV on Realm Reborn, and when I join you again, we will get to the next mystery involving Inspector Hildebrand. So until next time everyone, this is Matthew at Novora Autism, saying take care, and I'll see you soon.